Good evening from Washington, D.C. This is our first night here covering the Pope. That's Yvonne behind me. The photographer I'm working with this week, he's awesome. He's putting together our first package, or our first piece of video that will air tonight on News 10 at 11. This was us before we left Sacramento today, and this is us when we arrived at Dulles. Lots of gear, lots of equipment to lug around, but we got it into the city and managed to get out and get some interviews tonight. Tomorrow we'll go see this nice lady who has all of our credentials. And then on Wednesday, the big canonization mass. That'll be exciting once the Pope is here. That is the basilica, or the church, where they will have this huge outdoor mass. It's going to be gorgeous, and that's our little piece of real estate right there that we get to be able to film that for you. So we'll have all of that and much more this week from Washington, D.C. and the Papal Visit. Good morning from Washington, D.C. I'm here with Justin. He is our live truck or satellite truck operator for the remainder of our trip. He's from our sister station, WVEC, and we've been having a lot of fun this morning. The morning didn't start so fun. We were out getting our credentials this morning. That was kind of a long wait to finally get those, but we finally were able to pick those up. And then we met a very nice cab driver who is not a huge fan of the Pope's visit because he says fares are not great when they have big events like this in town and shut things down. But then we drove up to the Basilica, which is absolutely beautiful. A lot of people are here working on preparations. They've got hundreds of volunteers and workers setting things up. There's another shot of the Basilica. You can see just how many chairs are set out there, and we're going to be up on risers in the back as we watch the canonization ceremony of Junipero Serra. There, of course, is, there I am doing a live shot for the early morning show. And there's another shot of Justin at the live truck, satellite truck. And there's Yvonne editing our piece that we're getting ready to feed in. And one more shot of that beautiful basilica. We'll have much more later from Washington, D.C. on this first papal trip to America. So this is what you do when you're a reporter. You talk to strangers and sometimes you meet nice people from California like Kristen, who is nice enough to give us a ride and introduce us to the founder of Trinitas Winery. We're going to talk about the Pope's faith. But that's not all. We're going to tell you about the moment all of these folks went crazy. This was when the Pope landed. We were at a Franciscan monastery here in D.C. with a group of faithful, and it was so much fun to see how excited all of them got when the Pope finally arrived. So we'll have more with them. Not only that, we're going to talk to this guy. This is Father Leveroni from St. Francis of Assisi in Sacramento. He has the very specific honor of doing part of the canonization process. He will read the biography of Father Junipero Serra. We had a chance to talk to him about that, and he's going to tell us how this honor almost came down to a coin flip for him. So we're busy editing right now, getting ready for ABC 10 at 5 and ABC 10 at 6, so we'll see you soon. Good morning from Catholic University. You see the Basilica behind me. We're getting ready for the Pope's canonization Mass, which will be happening later on this afternoon. Getting into this venue was a little bit of a challenge, though. I'll give you a little behind-the-scenes tour. There we are on one of the press buses, of dozens of press buses, like 1,800 members of the press from all over the world here. We were on the bus before the sun came up, and as you can see, the sun is shining through the windows there. It took a while to get here, and once we were here and we pulled in, we saw people already lined up. They've got their signs. They're ready for Pope Francis to come. They're going to be waiting a long time. I hope they brought some chairs because he's not going to be here for a little while until this afternoon. Once we got here, security sweep was late, so the magnetometers weren't set up, and we all pretty much sat there and waited for about, for at least an hour, probably more than that. Shepard Smith from Fox News was behind me. I think he missed his first live shot as well. But we all just sat there, grateful that it wasn't raining and it was a beautiful day. The production staff and the volunteers were also waiting to get in. They had to be cleared through security, and they're responsible for setting everything up so the media can broadcast. So they were not happy about not being able to get in on time either. There we are, finally passing through the magnetometers after a couple of hours. We did make it inside, and here we are now at Catholic University. We'll see you later on ABC 10. So they're setting up for the canonization Mass right now, and all of the media have been ordered to be on the platform by 3 o'clock. They've been entering since early this morning. We've seen lots of people here for very many hours, getting in, trying to just absorb the university, walking around. We also ran into the girls from St. Francis High School, so had a chance to take a selfie with them. And I asked them actually to send me some of their pictures, some of the fun pictures from around the university. So they sent me some. They are having a great time. We'll have much more from them. Let me give you a quick look around the podium. As you can see around me, we're high above. This is media from all over the country and all over the world, actually. I'll turn back around so you can see the Basilica. There we go. All right, so we will see you later on ABC 10. We're at the U.S. Capitol today as we get ready for Pope's address to Congress, and then he's going to come out and greet people on the west lawn of the Capitol. Our day once again started very early with a cab ride over here, and when we got here there was more waiting at the barriers. We had some issues with our credentials. We had to get those solved, a lot of early morning phone calls, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but we were rewarded with this vision when we walked in. Look at that sunrise over our nation's capital. It's just beautiful. Here's another shot a little bit closer as people start to fill up the west lawn. There have been people here since 4:30 in the morning waiting. And here we are back in the press center. They always put us in the back. And Yvonne is getting ready for our morning shots. But we did run into the mayor of Patterson, Mayor Molina, and his lovely wife, and they are here at the invitation of Jeff Denham. They have fantastic seats. They're going to be very close to the Pope, so we'll have an interview for him later on. Ami Bear's office was very helpful in getting us tickets to be able to get in, so we thank them. Both sides of the aisle have been very helpful. And here's a final shot from the Capitol as people file in and get ready for the Pope's speech. We'll have much more coming up later on ABC 10. Okay, after 18 hours, you know I'm not going to go selfie mode, so we're going to have to just look at some pictures. But look at this picture. This is beautiful. This was our view as we entered the Capitol grounds today to cover the Pope's address to Congress. We got there really early. We were kept outside the barricades for a couple of hours, but finally when we made it inside, that was really nice to see. And people filed in. It was 50,000 people and very crowded, but you know, everyone having a good time, polite, taking it in stride. Much of our day was spent looking for places to edit with good Wi-Fi. We hiked out of the Capitol venue, no taxi cabs in sight. We had a lot of equipment. We hiked about 1.5 miles, 2 miles until we found a Hyatt, which was like an oasis in the desert. So, and they had breakfast too, which we hadn't eaten or had anything to drink since the night before. So that was a treat. We could edit while finishing some breakfast. Here's another place that we looked for and found and edited our midday pieces there. Our satellite truck, in the meantime, our operator was looking for a place to park because they're trying to clear streets and barricades and kicking him out of everywhere he tried to park. So we finally found a spot where we could park the truck, and we were able to meet him there. This is Lucy from WVEC. She's from our sister station. They were the ones that brought the truck and were generous enough to share. So we worked out of their truck for the week. Nice lady. We had great conversations. Really, really got on well. At one point, I turned around and I saw this sunset, and I thought, when am I going to see this again? So took a picture, wanted to share it with you. Just beautiful. I know we have beautiful sunsets in California too, but that was kind of special to see it behind the Washington Monument. Really pretty. There's John, Lucy's photographer, in the live truck taking his turn at the edit bench, and then Yvonne was in the front seat editing at the same time so we could all get our pieces in and make deadline. Meanwhile, Lucy and I were trying to spruce up. This is, you know, when you don't have a mirror in the truck, you do the camera on selfie mode, trying to get a little curl in the hair and tame it in this humidity, and after sweating all day and running around, so trying to be camera ready. And this was my view tonight as I finished up my live shots. Just gorgeous U.S. Capitol. I have another piece on that's coming up tonight on ABC 10 at 11, and then another one tomorrow morning on ABC 10 at 9. So join us for those. I hope you enjoyed these little behind the scenes videos, and I'm going to get some sleep, and then I will see you next week on ABC 10 on the Anchor Desk.